Hello, you're very welcome to today's short session. This is the last of my 3 sessions before our seminar on the 8th of June, looking at how to help children retain their mathematical knowledge and keep learning during the summer without realising that they're doing any kind of work. Today's game that I've chosen is called Crag, and I have split it down into 3 parts. We'll get through part 1 and possibly part 2 today. Why I've chosen that is because while it continues on with the children actually doing some kind of mental maths, but doing it using dice so they don't realise they're learning, they also have to think about what are their best options. So I'm going to transfer to the other camera and we're going to have a look at how to actually play the game. As you can see here, I've got my whiteboard. We need 3 dice. And I've just set it out for 2 players. So I'm going to take turns at being player 1 and player 2. And we have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 written down the side. And each player is trying to get 3 1s, 3 2s, 3 3s, 3 4s, 3 5s, and 3 6s. And then they're going to total the score at the end. So if we just start to play. So I have got 2 4s and a 1. Now each player on their turn has 2 throws. So I'm going to keep my 2 4s and I'm going to throw the third die. They can throw all 3 again or just throw 1 or 2 of them. I've got a 6. So I'm going to choose to take 2 4s and that will give me a total of 8. Player 2 now has just got a 1, 2 and a 3. Now that's not very good for anything. So I'm just going to throw all 3 again. And we've got 1, 2 and 3 again. The least harm is done by taking the 1. I've only got 1, 1. So that's the score the player 2 gets for that particular round. Player 1 has got a 5, a 1 and a 4. I'm going to throw these 2 again and I've managed to get 2 1s. So my score this time will be 2. So you're trying to get as many 1s in a particular go. You've got 2 chances, or how many 2s, or how many 3s, how many 4s, how many 5s, how many 6s. So the maximum would be a total of 3 here, a total of 6, a total of 9, a total of 12, a total of 15, and a total of 18. So this is for player 2. We have got a 5, a 6, and a 3. I'm going to keep the 6 and see if I can throw another 6. I haven't. I've got a 1, a 4, and a 6. I've already used the 1, so I can't do that. So I'm going to have to put in, I've just got 1, 4. So it's going to give player 2 a total of 4. Player 1 has their turn and we've got a 1. There's no point keeping the 1. I'm going to re-throw the 6 and the 1. And I've now got 2 3s. So that's going to give player 1 a total of 6. You have to choose at the end of the second go what dice you're going for and then what the total is. This is looking pretty good for player 2 because we've got 2 3s. If I could get another 3 with that one, it didn't happen, so this one's going to be a 6. Back to player 1. We've got a 6, a 5, and a 3. I'm going to re-throw the 3 and the 5. And I've got a 5 and a 1. I can't use the 1. I don't have a 2. I'm just going to go for 5 as the total there. Back to player 2. We've got a 1, a 2, and a 4. I've already played for the 1s, so I'm going to throw the 1 and the 4 and see can I get 2s. I have got a 2, a 4, and a 6. I'm going to go for a 2. Back to player 1. Player 1 has just got a 2, a 4, and a 5. None of those are any good. Player 1 is really just looking to see what can they get in terms of 2s and 6s. So I'll keep that 2 and hope I get another 2 2s. And I've managed to get 2 2s altogether, but I can't add in that 3, so that gives player 1 a total of 4. Now this could be quite good for player 2. We've got a 6, a 5 and a 1, so they have to choose whether they're going to try and go for 6s or whether they're going to try and go for 5s. I'm going to try and go for the 6s for player 2. And we've got 2 1s, so that's useless in terms of that. So player 2 can only score 6 because it already used the 1s. Back to player 1. Player 1 only can get 6s at the minute. That throw has been useless for them. Look at that. How lucky was that? Player 1 has managed to get 3 6s, which means they have got full marks for 6s. Player 2 only has the options of getting 5s. So we're going to throw this. They've got no 5s in their first go. Can they get 3 5s? They have got no 5s at all. So this, a 0 is going to go in there. So now we have to work out what the totals are. So player 2 has got 6 and 4 are 10. Another 6 brings us up to 16, 18, 19. If we look, 18 and 2 are 20, 30, 38, 43. So player 1 wins that particular game. In this part of the game, I have merged what I call Crag 1, which is where we were looking for totals of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6s. And I'm bringing in a new section, which gives the players a chance of choosing an odd straight, which is if they throw the numbers 1, 3, and 5, an even straight, 2, 4, 6, a low straight, which is 1, 2, 3, or a high straight, which is 4, 5, 6. So instead of just opting for a particular number, they have a chance of winning 20 points if they can get one of these kind of straights. So I'm going to throw for player 1. Player 1 has got 2, 3, 6. None of those are particularly good. Let's see, we'll keep the 2 and 3. And if we could get a 1 for a low straight, that would get player 1 20 points. But they didn't get that. They actually got a 6. So choice has to be made. What are they going to go for? And I think we'll go for, we got 1, 2, so we'll put in a 2 for player 1. Player 2 now has got a 2, 4, and a 5. We have here that they could go for an even straight 2, 4, and 6. They've got one chance to throw that 5 again. They could go for 4, 5, and 6 by throwing the 2. So let's see if we can get a 6. And we'll throw that. And we got a 1, so that's not very good. So a decision has to be made. Are we going to go for a 1 up here, 1 point here, a 4 here, or a 5 here? So I'm just going to take the 1 for player 2. We have got a 4 and a 5. I'm going to see if I can throw this. This is for player 1. If we can get a high straight by getting a 6. And we didn't. We got a 1, 4, and 5. I'm going to choose the lowest possible score. We have got a 1, 2, and a 6. Player 2 could choose to go for 2s, could choose to go for 6s, or could try and go for 1, 2, and 3 and get 20 points there. They've got a 4, so that's no good. So you're going to have to take just 2 points there for doing, for not getting anything really worse. Working on. Back to player 1, who's got 1, 3, and 6. And if we look, they can't go for 1s, they can't go for 2s because they're already taken. Could go for 3s, but they've already got 1, 3. They could go for a 5, or they could go for a 2. So I think we're going to throw this 6 and see what happens. And they got a 6, so that's no good. No point using these points because they've still got a chance of getting these. I think we'll go for a 3 for player 1 because they only got 1 3. We have got a 1 3 and a 5. This is for player 2. This is absolutely brilliant because that's an odd straight. So player 2 gets 20 points because they threw a 1 3 and a 5, and they actually did that on the first throw. Player 1 has just got a 3, a 6 and a 6, and if they could manage to get another 6, they could get a score of 18. So we'll re-throw the 3, and they got a 5, 5 6 6. I think we'll take 12 for player 1. We have got 2 4s and a 3. No point looking at any of the straights. We're supposed to see there's no point going for 3 4 and 5 because that's not an option. So we'll possibly stick with 4s and see can player 2 get a third 4. They didn't. They got a 5, so they've got 2 4s, which are 8. They've scored 8 points there. Back to player 1. We've got a 1, a 4 and a 5. Player 1, so player 1 could be thinking about if this could be a 3. So we'll throw that. They've got a 4. So I think we'll just give them 4 points. Player 2 now has got 1, 2 and 6. They're waiting to get 3s, 5s, 6s. Oh, now there could be an appropriate one, a 2 4 6. So let's see, we'll keep the 2 and 6 and we'll throw this 1 and see can we get a 4. And they've got another 6. So altogether they have got 2 6s and 2. So we'll just give them 12 for that because there's nothing else that was going to be any better for them. Player 1 has just thrown 2 1s and a 3. They're now left with trying to get 5s, a 1 3 and 5, a 2 4 6, a 1 2 3 or 4 5 6. So I'm going to keep the 1 and the 3 and see can we get a 5 or a 2. And they didn't. They got a 1 3 3. So they could go for 5s even though they didn't get any 5s. That's the least damage score that they could take there. Oh, we have a 3 4 and a 5. Could go for 3s. Let me see what else down here. There's a 4 5 and 6 would be a possibility. 2 4 6. I think we'll try for that one. If we throw this 3 and see can player 2 get a 20. Player 2 has got 2 4 5. That doesn't help with any of these. Didn't get any 3s. They did get 1 5, but they could still choose to put a 0 in there and say they didn't get any 3s at all. Back to player 1 who's got 2 2s and a 3. So we have here an odd straight 1 3 and 5. So we've got a 3. They could go for 2 4 6. They could go for 1 2 3. Now that's looking like the best one for them. So we'll throw this 2 and see can we get a 1 with it. And they didn't. They got a 2 3 and a 5. So they're going to have to choose to lose out on one of them. I'm going to put it down for here. Back to player 2 who has just got 2 4 and 6, which gives them an even straight, which automatically gets them 20 points. We have 3 4 and 5. This is for player 1, and who still needs to get the 1 3 and 5. So I'll throw the 4 and see can we get a 1. And they've got a 2, so they've got 2, 3, and 5. Is that worth anything? Nothing. So I'm just going to take this one out and give them a 0 there. Now, player 2 has just got 2 5s and a 2. They're looking for 5s. 2 and 5 don't come up with anything. Let's see if we can get a 5 for this 2. And they got a 4. So they've got 2 5s. So we'll put in 10 for their 5s. So all of them now are looking for some of the straights. And this is for maximum points. So we've got a 1, 2, and a 4. Player 1 is looking for 2, 4, and 6. So they could keep these 2 dice and rethrow the 1. Or they could keep the 1 and 2 and throw the 4. Let me see. We'll see, can we get a 3 with this 4? And they got a 5. So I'm going to give them no points here. Player 2 has got a 1, 2, and a 6, but they're looking for 1, 2, 3, or else 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to throw this 6 and hope that they get a 3 instead. They've got a 1, so we'll give them a 0 here. Now both groups are left looking for 1, 2, 3. Player 1 has just thrown 3, 4, and 6. None of them are any good. They've got a 4 and a 5, so they're getting no points at all for this. Player 2 has got a 1, a 4, and a 5. The 4 and the 5 aren't any good. They need to get a 2 and a 3. And they've just got another 1 and another 4, so they couldn't make that category, so they're going to get no points there. So let's see if we count these up. Here's 12 and 4 are 16, and 3 is 19, and 1's 20, and 2's 22 for player 1. And player 2 then is going to get, we've got 20, 40, 32, 40, 52, 60, 70, 72, 73. So player 2 has got the highest score in this particular one. As you can see, Crag, when you introduce the second part of it, really makes it a much more complicated game because they're having to think and decide what would be my best option to take. So this is where we're getting the children to think, to engage the brain, to actually become active thinkers. Now, the first couple of times they're going to find this really quite difficult. But once they actually get into it, in fact, you know something, if you were playing it with, you know, one of your friends or whatever, and then the children just watching, it will be so much easier and they will pick it up and they will want to play it. But if you persevere with this one, and this is one of the habits of mind that, you know, Kate is talking about, if we help children develop this perseverance, this idea we're going to keep trying this, you know, what I'm doing is splitting the game down into 3 parts. So we did the first part, which was just looking at, you know, choosing whether they wanted to get 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, or 6s. Then we introduced the second part, which was looking at the different kinds of straights, whether they were low straights, high straights, whether it was looking at the odd numbers, the even numbers. There's a third section, but to try and do all 3 sections at one time, I think is very difficult for the children. So I would actually introduce these very, very slowly and have it broken down. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please try it and join us on the 8th of June and tell me how you get on. I will actually finish off with the third part on the 8th of June, and hopefully some of you will play the game along with me, so have some dice ready. I hope you've enjoyed the sessions. Do remember that on the 25th of May at 8 o'clock, Liz does her session on parenting post-pandemic. Kate then follows that up the following Tuesday on the 1st of June at 8 o'clock, and that's looking at the thinking child. So all the kind of stuff that I'm trying to build into my work, helping the children think a little bit more, as opposed to just doing exactly what we ask them to do or following rules or whatever in their mathematics. We want them playing and enjoying and learning not only mental skills, but also habits of mind. So I look forward to seeing you on the 8th, where we'll be having a look at a few more activities. All the best. Bye.